Yeah. Was it scary? Story with anonymous.
I went to a somewhat typical high school. Not in a traditional American suburb, but a
Burger King foot lettuce.
more rural set high school.
Where you could
Some
have
kids
it
go
on
to school
in the background elderly while you play. Nigga, you might be a fucking genius. Nah. Yeah, kind of some random guy broke in, but it turned out he was just a random manager. Why the fuck he had to break in then? Nigga said either one. So he said you gotta pick one or two, nigga. He said either you gotta be playing Elden Ring or watching the video, nigga. You can't be doing both at the same time. Don't do this TikTok shit. You can really room grind and keep the stream on vid. I ain't gonna lie. If I was to go room grind, I had this video in the background and like letting y'all watch it, and I heard it. I'll start watching this video. Not gonna lie.
schools with graduating classes
we're gonna watch the
500
video. We're gonna watch the video.
to hell, even 1,000 kids.
Then after this, we're gonna play Elden Ring.
My high school had, I think, a little less than 200 kids in my graduating class. It was the kind of high school where even if you weren't friends with someone, you still knew them by face and name. Walking down the hallways, you'd know basically 99% of your peers, at least in your own graduating class.
Easily, like very easily.
Coming from a quiet town, there weren't a lot of crazy news stories, really. It was pretty uneventful there. What we did for fun after school was actually go out and play sports and ride our bikes around and stuff like that. This was like 17 years ago, though, so I guess things may be a lot different these days
Old
for
ass
kids.
niggas.
Another thing
Low
I always
attention
felt
span
that was
would
unique
cook.
about our school was
I
that
ain't
there
got
didn't
low
really
attention
seem to be
span.
any bullying for the most part. Like, at least not the typical cliche movie-style bullying, where kids are getting pushed into lockers or having their lunch money stolen.
Bro, speaking of bullying, bro, you know I actually did not know bullying was real. I swear to God, I did not know bullying was real until like my 10th grade year of high school. I thought bullying was just like some movie shit, bro. Like, I honestly thought that shit was just like some movie shit. Cause I don't know if that's just because no one had ever bullied anybody around me, and I never got bullied myself. It was just like I didn't know that shit actually existed, bro. Like real shit. I thought it was just some movie shit.
When I think back now, I can't really name a single kid from my graduating class who could be labeled as a bully. Sure, there were kids who just tease others, but nothing too serious. Of course, there were quiet kids in our grade, like every school has, but there was one kid in my grade who literally never spoke at all. I'm gonna just name him Luke
shoot
for
some
this
shit.
story. He wasn't
go
even a
reach in the
weird-looking
motherfucker.
kid or anything. He seemed pretty nice to people who went out of their way to interact with him. I shared one class with him, though. It was an elective that had kids from all 4 grades in it. Luke and I were juniors when this happened. This elective was a computer class, and back when this happened, the computer rooms in our high school were still rocking those big, bulky box computers. I remember the layout
Hell
of this
no,
classroom.
I hated them shits. They used to
There
be
was
so
the
fucking
aisle
hot.
in the middle, separating 2 columns of tables, and the 2 columns had 4 rows each. Each row had 4 seats.
I just unlocked a crazy memory, nigga. PBS Kids. A crazy ass memory just came back to my head looking at these computers. PBS Kids, it was a game. It was a game site. I got bullied in kindergarten, so my dad told me to kick the bully in the balls. So the next day he tried to bitch me. As soon as he tried that, I kicked him so hard with my 5-year-old strength, he never bullied me again. We friends now. Damn, you beat that nigga ass, and now y'all became friends. You basically beat his ass up and then tried to help him up. That's the equivalent to that.
This class wasn't full, so there were probably like 26 filled seats out of 32. Luke always sat in the second row in the furthest seat to the left.
You think he'll be cool
no
with
one
you
next
saying
to
that?
him, as everyone else sat with people they knew from their respective grades. Unfortunately, not long into the semester, the seniors in the class started collectively picking on Luke. By this, I mean some of the seniors would make jokes about how quiet Luke was, that it was scary when the teacher would ask certain things. For whatever reason, our teacher never stood
That's
up
some
for Luke and
Naruto
told
ass
him to
shit.
cut it out. The teacher was a bit of a pushover from what I remember. Maybe that was why. As the semester went on, it got a little worse. I remember at one point seeing a small piece of paper fly from the back row from the seniors right to the back of Luke's head. I remember he turned around and had this very telling look. The seniors continued to make fun, one of them saying, "Wasn't me," and blaming one of the other seniors. The look on Luke's face just looked like a mix of sadness, anger, and just defeatedness.
Come on,
I
Luke.
genuinely felt bad, but I didn't get involved. Eventually, one day I saw Luke sitting on a curb not far from the high school after school ended one day. I passed by him as I was walking to my car. I have an early birthday, so I was driving around halfway through junior year. Given we were in a quiet area, no one was exactly
I was
walking
driving in
distance
10th
from
grade.
school. So I did the right thing and said, "What's up?" and asked if he needed a ride home. His face literally lit up a bit as he said
W-mans.
yes.
Luke
We walked
finna
to
pull
my
out
car.
the Tech
and
9
from
and
there
let that
on,
bitch
he
ride.
guided me to his house. It was about a 10-minute drive to his house. We talked a lot during that car ride. I told him he should just ignore the seniors in our computer class. I said they're a bunch of deadbeats anyway. He said they're not the only ones that he's sick of. He implied that he deals with people picking on him in multiple classes, which honestly made me feel pretty terrible for him. In those 10 minutes, I felt like I learned a lot about Luke and got to know him as a person just a bit, and he seemed like a decent kid. As I dropped him off, I made a comment to him about how close we lived, and then we said goodbye. Every day in class after that, we'd say hey to each other, but admittedly, I unfortunately never got involved whenever he got picked on. Well, one day, Luke didn't show up to class. Computer class was 4th period. It wasn't
This
until
nigga voice is
7th period
perfect for this
English
shit.
that an announcement came over the loudspeaker saying, "Lockdown, this is not a drill." I remember everyone looking around
Oh
nervously.
shit, where Luke
I
at?
remember our teacher looking the most nervous. She ran to turn off the lights and told everyone to hurry to one corner of the room. Seeing how nervous our teacher was only made all the students even more nervous. We sat with the lights off for a long time. It had to be 20 to 30 minutes until there was another message on the loudspeaker. It was the principal, explaining that there was someone in a mask carrying a black duffel bag trying to get into the school. Our school had really good
pussy, I'll
security,
beat his
and
ass.
when
Damn,
someone
chill
spotted
out, my
that person
nigga.
approaching the school with
Why
what could only
in?
be assumed to be guns or any kind of weapons in that duffel bag, the doors were all locked. The school
Columbine?
day was cut short after that once a few police cars were on the scene. I remember it being a Friday, so I took a few of my
See,
friends
that's
home
what
to
I'm
my
talking
house
about.
so we could hang
Saying
out.
shit like that.
I'd be lying if I said I remember the small details thereafter of that day, but I think it was that same night that I woke up in the middle of the night to light tapping at my window.
I fucking hate this nigga, bro. I hate this nigga. Why would he do that? I forgot he do shit like that, bro. Bro, I forgot he do shit like that. Then it's crazy cause it only came out of my left headphone. It only came out of my left headphone. And this is my window right here. Oh hell
I
no.
could see someone on the other side of the glass. I started freaking out, and before running to get
Let me
my
lock
bag,
my fucking
I
door.
took a closer look and then said, "Who is it?" I heard Luke's voice as he said his name. I felt like my heart dropped a second time. I went over to the window and lifted it just a crack. I said, "What are you doing? How did you find me?" And he said through the window, "I tried to do something bad."
Whoa.
And it instantly clicked. I mean it. It instantly clicked in my head that it was him. Before he could even tell me, I said, "Was it you who caused the lockdown?" And he said yes. I was scared to ask him what he was planning on doing. Instead, I asked him how he found me. He admitted to remembering the deli that I said I lived by, and he eventually found my car after biking around the area. That explanation didn't make it any less disturbing.
You live
Luke
alone or you
asked
got
me if he
roommates?
could
I
come
live
in
with
and
people.
talk about what he planned on doing, and I said no, I cannot let him in, nor can I hear what he planned.
You the feds, nigga? You watching me? You trying to get in my crib, nigga? You finna knock in my door in a second? You finna knock in my window in a second? Boy, though, as he pull up, shit, let a nigga pull up here. Let a nigga pull up here. motherfucker fuck around,
And
find out
undoing.
this motherfucker.
I actually recommended he go to the school and confess to whatever he was going to do. And when he refused to walk away from my window, I said, "Dad,"
Nah, I
really
was curious
loudly,
because you
which
yell a lot.
worked in scaring him off.
You think I yell a lot now? Nigga, when I'm home alone? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, honestly, if you really pay attention, you can probably tell, like, when I'm, like, you could probably tell when I'm at the house by myself. Like, you could probably tell. Just by how loud I'm being.
I went to my parents' room and woke them up to tell them. My mom was the one who insisted on calling the police. She was distraught. When a police officer eventually came, I had no choice but to tell the truth. I gave Luke's identity, and I explained that he had just come to my window, admitting to potentially almost doing something horrible at the school. Obviously, the police were already aware of the lockdown, so I believe police were sent to his house that night. But after speaking with Luke's parents, they realized Luke wasn't there. I believe it was the next day that Luke was either found or he just returned home and police were still waiting there, and he confessed to what he told me. As far as our graduating class knew, Luke was charged with something like making a terroristic threat. I know he did time, and I know he's been out a long
I ain't gonna
time.
lie, I said it today.
To be honest,
But it was through
I don't
text,
really
though.
know if he's
Like,
still
it was just some like
around.
funny shit, bro. Like, it was
Part
just
of
me
me always
being
wanted
goofy.
to feel bad for Luke.
I said it to my
witnessing how
friend. I
loneliness
called
and
him
getting
one.
picked on can probably eat away at someone. He followed me
I
and
was
came
like-
to me simply
I
because
was
I
like,
showed him an act of kindness.
At the entering, you gotta
something
do
I unfortunately
cup-
believe nobody else showed
cup-
him.
cup-
Still, the fact that he admitted to bringing a gun to school with a mask on, even if he didn't admit to intending on carrying out the implied threat, I can't fully believe he simply came to the school with a gun just to scare people. I think he for a split
Cuphead.
second had a horrible plan
The fuck is
and got
Cuphead?
cold feet and regretted it. I just hope Luke eventually got the help he needed.
Man, Luke finna come to your fucking house and find you again, nigga, and do you what he was finna do to them kids. Telling his story.
This happened in 2016,
See-
back when I was in 5th grade.
Don't be this nigga. Don't be this nigga right here. First, you gotta copy Kai with the Elden Ring, then you gotta copy Agent with Cuphead. We can duo Cuphead. I got the game. What the fuck is Cuphead? But nah, don't be this nigga though. Don't be this nigga.
If you remember
this
that
nigga gonna
year,
get you fucked
you
up.
probably remember all the killer clown sightings that were happening around the country. At the time, it was all over the news and social media.
You
Most
ain't see
adults
Agent
thought it was
play?
just some
Hell
dumb
nah, I never
trend
heard
or
of Cuphead
prank,
a day in my
but for
life.
young kids, it was actually pretty scary. It was a normal day at school. I went to an elementary school in a quiet suburban area where
My
I still
stomach just
live.
growled so fucking
Nothing
hard.
weird ever really happens here. It was around 1 p.m., I'm guessing, because it was closer to the end of the school day. We were in class working on some
Aw,
random
shit.
assignment, and the classroom was quiet except for a
It's
few
a really
people
hard
whispering.
game. How hard is it?
Then, one of the students in my class suddenly said out loud, "There's a clown outside." I still remember her high-pitched voice as she said it. Some of us stood up and looked toward the window, and yeah, there really was a clown outside. He was standing just a few feet away from the window, facing our
I hate this nigga, bro. Like, why would he do that, bro?
classroom directly. He was wearing a baggy, dirty red and yellow clown suit and had white face paint.
Why I
with
gotta be
black around the
Pennywise,
eyes.
bro?
He was smiling and staring in at us with this big fake grin. After a few seconds, he started
Why is it
waving
lingering,
slowly.
bro?
Some of the kids thought it was funny and laughed. Others were clearly
It's a
freaked
second
out.
shooter with some
Our
platform
teacher,
action.
Mrs. Riker, walked over to the window,
It's a 2D
looked at the
shooter,
guy
dog.
for a second, and then said through the glass, loud and annoyed,
hell no.
"Excuse me, classes are in session. You need to get out of here." The clown didn't react at all. He just kept standing there, smiling and waving. Mrs. Riker told us all to sit back down and said she was calling the front office. She picked up the corded classroom phone and then walked into the hallway with it and spoke quietly. The phones in the classrooms were always next to the door, so that's how she was able to walk outside the room with it. She came back in moments later and then hung up. She walked over to the window and shut all the blinds after she saw that the man in the clown costume was still there, doing the same creepy waving motion, smiling, and general clownish mannerisms. Not even 2 minutes later, the principal's
I'll
voice
play
came over
Castle
the
Crashers.
loudspeaker. Staff, please get your classrooms into lockdown
It's a
formation.
boss rush kind of game. I don't know.
There was a
what's the
sense
boss
of
rush?
urgency in the voice that, looking back, was probably to alert the teachers that it wasn't a drill without causing all the kids to go into a panic. That's when it got serious. Mrs. Riker rushed to turn off the lights and told us all to get under our desks. She pulled the door shut and locked it. Everyone was quiet. Some kids were giggling, but others looked scared. I was definitely scared. We stayed like that for what felt like forever, but it was actually about 30 minutes. Nobody knew what was happening, but eventually, the principal came back on the loudspeaker and said the lockdown was over and that the situation had been handled. Apparently, school security had confirmed that the clown was gone. They didn't tell us anything else. Classes went on like normal for the rest of the day. It felt weird. Everyone was talking about it during dismissal, but the teachers didn't say much. Then, after school, I was walking home with my friend Chris. We lived in the same neighborhood, just a few blocks away. While we were walking, a couple of 5th grade girls behind us suddenly ran past us, looking panicked. One of them said, "There's someone in the woods." We stopped and turned around. Behind the school, there's a small patch of trees. It's not deep woods or anything, just enough to separate the school from the street behind it. And standing just barely out of view, near the edge of the woods, was the clown again. Same dirty outfit, same painted
This bitch just
face.
laughed in my ear.
He was half hidden by the trees, but he was clearly waving, and he wasn't just waving at random. He was doing it slowly, directly at the girls who had just passed us, like he was
this nigga
trying to
weirdo.
call them over. Chris and I didn't say anything. We just ran. I don't know what happened after that, but I told my parents as soon as I got home. They called the school, and later I heard from another kid that the police were called again and patrolled the area, but they never found anyone. To this day, nobody knows who that guy was, and I don't know if he was just trying to scare some kids or if he were planning something worse. But what freaks me out the most is that he came back after the lockdown, and he waited, hidden in the trees, watching kids go home.
Yeah, that nigga a weirdo. He probably trying to do some weird shit.
What if you
He
could
probably
do
trying to do
SEO
some weird
smarter
shit to them kids.
and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tags.
The clown wants the elementary hubs. Crazy. They got some
So
EDP
this happened
shit.
not long ago. I live on the outskirts of Philadelphia, where it's me, my son, and my stepdaughter. I say stepdaughter as I've taken my best friend's daughter in legally. Around
What happened to
2016,
your
my
best
best
friend?
friend Joanne was murdered by her husband.
Oh.
He ended up making national headlines and was convicted of 5 more murder cases. He's facing 3 consecutive life sentences with no parole.
Get that nigga the
Now
chair.
I'm a middle school teacher at my son's school. He's the year
Yo,
below what I
ass too
teach.
big to be an
My stepdaughter is the
elementary.
grade above what I
what?
teach, so their classrooms are not far off from mine. This incident took place on March 30th, 2020, when the lockdowns were slowly taking place. Where I taught, the school was rather distant from anywhere. The next school was about 10 miles. The
Discord?
gas station was about 2 miles.
The fuck is in Discord? Is it a giant dick? What the fuck is this? How did she do that? Ow. Her homegirl got packed up. Now that bitch really a plus sign. You ain't lying. She must be tight as fuck. Nigga, did you just delete it? nigga, did you just delete it? No, motherfucker. It's too late. It's too late.
And the nearest park was about 600 meters from where we were. So we were one of the last schools to go into lockdown. Around midday of March, it was a normal heated Monday. I was teaching math at that time for the 6th graders. All of a sudden, I get a notification on my phone that someone was here to pick up my stepdaughter. The system that works is the main emergency number gets a notification if someone is picking up your child. The thing is, my stepdaughter was 3 classes down from me. She had no appointments, no close family that lived in a good radius from us. I replied that I'm here at school and no one in a 10-mile radius is picking her up. This was sending alarm bells off left and right. They said that the person picking her up was her biological dad. The school doesn't have that type of information on file.
Like what?
A few minutes go by on the phone and it's dead silent. The lady tells me she's going to call the principal and see what he wants to do from there. A gut feeling didn't sit right with me. I called my stepdaughter's classroom and asked for her to be sent to my room. Just as I hung up, I was back to teaching when my stepdaughter came into the classroom. Not even 10 minutes later, the lockdown siren went off.
The daughter finna get
I had kids
up.
push desks to the door and barricade the windows, and everyone sat in the corner. I had a pretty good feeling on who this lockdown was about. We were in a lockdown for about 46 minutes at this point. My main concern was how did he end up getting out? About 2 hours later, the lockdown was lifted and I was escorted out by the police.
Oh shit.
I was further questioned on how I knew this man due to the CPS records. I said I took my best friend's daughter in.
Shit just made my shoulder twitch.
The police informed me that how he had gotten out was a prison bus transporting inmates to another cell, but a car came swerving in and crashed into the prison bus, leaving 10 prisoners dead on the scene, 2 prison guards knocked out, and 20 escaped. There were police already at our house waiting for the dad to show up, but he never did. When they heard the lockdown at the school, they knew it was one of the prisoners.
What?
If they had never gotten there on time, I honestly have no idea what would have happened.
Some motherfuckers weird. Bro, I'm telling you, don't beat these people, bro. Like, they just like some weird ass shit. Like he probably wasn't gonna do nothing actually, but he was just trying to scare them. Actually, you can't even look at it like that. That nigga just weird, bro. He probably was trying to do some shit to them. What the fuck type of emotes are those? What is that? Is that a turtle? What the fuck is that? Bro, I gotta get, bro. Twitch, Herbert fucking let me get affiliated, bro. Matter of fact, just gotta admire the king. Alright. Bro, Twitch, Herbert fucking let me get affiliated, bro. I got an average 0.5. I'm sure it's gonna go up a little bit more after this stream over. But nigga, I'm at 2.5 average concurrent viewers. I need to get to 3. Nigga. So y'all know what I need y'all help for that then. That's what I'm saying. Go tell all your friends, pull up to the stream and fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Tell them niggas to watch the stream from beginning to end. Tell them shit get lit around here. Tell them shit get lit around here. You know what I'm saying? Tell your motherfucking friends. Tell your motherfucking cousins. Tell everybody, nigga. Tell everybody, nigga. Go write it on the school bathroom stall. Go write it on the school bathroom motherfucking wall. You know what I'm saying, nigga? Go write it on the lockers. You know what I'm saying? Tell them niggas come fuck with Marion the One, bro. Tell them come help me get affiliated. You know what I'm saying? Then when we get affiliated, tell them niggas keep rocking with me so we can get partnered. W promo? Was that W promo?
This happened
was
during
that W
my freshman
promo?
year of high school. I'm 21 now, and I still think about it all the time. I went to a public school in a pretty average suburban town. We did lockdown drills maybe once every couple months. So when this one started, that's exactly what I thought it was. Just a drill. It was a Wednesday, 4th period.
Writing on the school
I remember
bathroom.
because it was
It's a
earth
great
science,
promo.
and we had just finished a pop
telling
quiz. I was putting my stuff into my backpack when the loudspeaker came on and said, "This is a lockdown."
Is this my fucking middle school lab? This is exactly what my middle school. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, this might be my middle school
All
lab.
doors, lights off, stay quiet. At first, nobody panicked. Our teacher, Mrs. Chen, sighed, got up, and locked the door like usual.
Right?
She turned off the lights and told us all to get into the corner of the room, away from the door. Everyone was laughing a little and whispering like it was no big deal.
Alright, watch this
But
shit.
then we heard a second announcement. Same voice, but it sounded different. More rushed.
Nice ass middle
Not
school.
a drill. I repeat, this is
Nah,
not
middle
a
school
drill.
labs. It don't matter
That's
what.
when
I
they-
ain't gonna lie. It don't matter what kind of school you at, bro. It don't matter if you're at elementary, middle school, or high school. A lab is always gonna look good because it has to. Nigga said Meridian sweet as shit. Please, I about to say, boy, I ain't good. Them niggas here, no bullshit.
Room went silent.
Coffee or
The
cum
teacher
in the
didn't
morning.
say a word.
Bro, somebody
She
get
just
that nigga
motioned
out
for
of
everyone
here.
to stay down and keep quiet. I could tell even she was nervous now. She kept checking her phone, and we could hear faint, distant police sirens outside. A few minutes passed, then we heard something from the hallway. Footsteps. Slow ones, and not in a hurry like a cop or a
Both of them
teacher.
warriors.
Just
Oh
one
my
person
fucking
walking.
God.
They stopped right in front of our classroom. We were all staring at the door. Nobody breathed. Then came a knock. Not loud. Just a soft, slow knock 3 times. Nobody moved. Then the doorknob turned. They tried to open it, but it was locked, obviously, but they kept trying. Not aggressively, just turning the handle back and forth like
Which is sweeter, Meridian or Jacksonville, Florida? Neither one of these places is sweet. There's no sweet state. There's no sweet city. There's no such thing as a sweet city. Because it's motherfuckers in every city that's about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for having my back, Antoine, nigga. Appreciate you for having my back. Yes, there is. Don't say that. I mean, like, bro, you gotta really think about it, bro. In every city, bro, it's a certain demographic, bro. Yes, it is. In every city, bro, everywhere there's a certain group of people that's really about that shit, bro. It don't matter where you at, bro. It don't matter where you at. There's no such thing as a sweet city, bro. Now there's places that's nicer than other places. You know what I'm saying? But it's also like, yeah.
they were checking. And then a male's
Would you
voice
rather
on the
go
other.
back to school or go to war? Bro, honestly, bro, a nigga might go to war, bro. A nigga might go to war because we not finna, bro. Wars, bro. It's 2025, bro. It ain't, bro. We not finna fight too many more wars with boots on the ground. All that shit finna be planes, bombs, fucking drones flying back and forth and shit like that. Nah, I'm bullshit. I definitely go back to school.
Side said, "This is just a drill. You can open the door now." We all collectively looked at Mrs. Chen, and then she looked back at all of us, put her finger up to her lips, and shook her head no. The person on the other side of the door kept knocking and trying the doorknob.
You
And
tell them
eventually the
Virginia
knocks
ain't
got
sweet
more
or
aggressive
Arizona
as
ain't
the voice
sweet?
of the man on the other side kept saying hello.
No.
Our classroom was on the first floor. on the
Nigga,
side.
bro, Virginia, nigga? Virginia, nigga? You think Virginia is sweet? I don't know what goes down in Arizona, but Virginia? Bro, this nigga's trolling me, bro. He's trolling me, bro. He know what he doing.
I can't
This
tell
nigga
you how
trolling me,
much I
bro.
was shaking in my shoes. I know even if all the other kids didn't want to admit it, they were as well. Eventually, the knock stopped, and the man must have walked away.
I don't know nothing about
We
Virginia.
heard
I'm
nothing
gonna be
after
real.
that for
Boy,
a
I'm
solid
about to say,
5
boy,
minutes.
yeah,
Total
crazy.
silence, apart from the police sirens outside getting louder. It felt like forever. Then, someone down the hall screamed. It was a girl. Just one scream, and
Chicago
then nothing.
is sweet. They all.
A couple of people in my class started crying quietly.
No.
Honestly, it was the girls.
No, I'm not
Someone
doing it,
whispered
bro.
that they saw
That's
it.
how niggas get clipped, bro. That's how niggas get clipped, bro. Oh my God, I'm seeing it. Bro, I'm starting to see it. My eyes are starting to open. My eyes are starting to open. That's how niggas get clipped out of context right there. That's how niggas get clipped out of context right there. How much did you pay for your PC? This bad boy right here was $534. Exactly. $534. I got a good ass deal. It was on eBay. The nigga, I guess he had, maybe the dude had this PC for a long time, and he gave me a better graphics card than we was supposed to. So appreciate him for that.
A shadow moved past the little glass window on the classroom door on several occasions. Each time
Pope
anyone
is from
spoke,
Chicago.
even
They all
quietly,
religious and love
Mrs.
God.
Chen gave a stern but quiet shh.
True.
Another 5 or 10 minutes passed. Then, finally, We heard the sound of police officers shouting from down the hallway, telling everyone to stay in place. They were going room to room, and when they finally knocked on our door and unlocked it with a key, Mrs. Chen didn't even move until they showed their badges. We were all escorted out in a line, past other classes doing the same thing. There were cop cars everywhere outside, even a SWAT van. I didn't see anything too crazy, but I did see one officer leading a guy in cuffs out of the building. He looked about 30. Not a student, pale, long hair, wearing dark clothes.
Weirdo.
I dare you to
Weirdo.
let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with...
Later that day, I found out that some criminal had slipped into the school through one of the side doors during a delivery. That side door was right by the end of the science wing.
Bro, I'm never
Apparently,
gonna drink
he
my
was
piss
mentally
again. It tastes
unstable and had
so
something in his
disgusting.
backpack,
Nigga, what?
but I don't know if it was a weapon or not. They didn't tell us much. They just
Why
said
you drinking
nobody was
your own
hurt
piss
and
in the
everything
first
was under
place?
control. But I swear, I'll never forget that knock at the door. The way he turned the handle, the scream down the hall. It didn't feel like everything was under control at all. I had just started school, and I already had a lockdown to tell.
The fuck
I'm only
was that? That was a
15 years
heartbeat,
old and
nigga.
just started as a sophomore at Northside High School in Jacksonville, North Carolina. That morning, I came to school early, around 6:55
Get him
a.m.
some help.
I was one of the first people
He don't
in my
wanna be
first
saved,
period
don't
class,
save him.
which was chorus.
He don't want to be
The
saved. Don't
classroom
save
is at the
him.
very end of the fine arts hallway, right next to the auditorium. I was sitting at my seat with my phone out, listening to music and just waiting for the bell to ring and start the day. After a few
I'm very
minutes,
lucid.
I heard my teacher say something, so I paused my music and took out my headphones. When I looked up, I saw my classmates heading into the closet at the back of the choir room. I was confused. We had just practiced a lockdown drill the day before, so I wasn't sure if this was another
Why the fuck
drill
there's so
or
many
something
places named
else.
Jacksonville?
Still, I listened to what the teacher was saying and followed everyone else into the closet. The teacher shut the door behind us and
It's a
turned off
it's
the
a Meridian in
lights.
Idaho.
We were now sitting in complete darkness, with only a small amount of light coming in from under the door. At this point, I still didn't know
J.
what was
Cole is a great
happening.
artist.
But
He's
then I heard police sirens outside. That's when I started to realize this wasn't a drill.
J. Cole,
it was
that
real.
nigga, bro.
I started to feel nervous, but I kept calm. I figured if I stayed as composed as I could, maybe I wouldn't panic as much. I sat in that closet quietly, trying to listen for any sounds coming from outside, but I didn't hear anything else. We stayed in that closet with the lights off until the lockdown ended, around 8:45 a.m. That's nearly 2 hours.
Damn.
Once we were let out, I felt calm again because everyone around me had stayed
Nah,
calm
he ain't
too.
pussy, just smart.
I went back to my seat in the front of the room and put my music back on, just trying to get back to normal. Later on, I decided to ask my teacher what had happened. I said, "Were there any fights today?" The teacher looked at me seriously and said, "It's much worse." That's when I started to realize something serious had really gone down. I looked out the window and saw cars lined up in the back of the school. At first, I thought it was just regular pickup traffic, but it felt different. In the classroom, some students were trying to get information. Eventually, my friend Jacob told me that someone had been stabbed in the middle of the school in
Oh!
the rotunda. I didn't know much more than that at the time, but shortly after, my mom texted me asking if I was okay. I told her I was safe and still in my choir class. Some girls in the class had started crying after the lockdown, and that made everything feel even more real. My mom called me next. She told me she had parked her car at the baseball field, along with a bunch of other worried parents trying to find their kids. Eventually, my name was called and I was allowed to leave the school. When I got to the field, I found my mom. She was clearly shaken up, and honestly, so was I. She drove me to the daycare where she worked, and once we got there, both of us went into a quiet room where we cried together. Her co-workers came in to try and comfort us, and I had to go outside to calm down even more. I put my headphones back in and listened to 3 Days Grace just to get my head right again. Later on, we found out exactly what happened. 2 students had been taken to the hospital. One of them died. A teacher had also been slashed by the attacker.
Shit.
In total, 3 people had been hurt that day. I started searching for more information
Damn.
and found the press conference about the incident already posted online. After watching it, my mom took me to Arby's to get something to eat. I hadn't eaten all day.
Arby's?
We got our food.
Arby's, nigga? Arby's? Dog, Arby's? Out of all the shit you could have ate, nigga, Arby's? Alright, dog.
We went to pick up my younger brother from his middle school. He told us he had noticed a lot of cops at the school, but didn't know what had happened. When we got home, I kept searching online for updates. That's when I saw that a 16-year-old had already been charged with voluntary manslaughter, assault with a deadly weapon, and a list of other
That
serious
little nigga
charges.
cooked.
2 more
That little
students,
nigga cooked.
115 and 116, were also charged with assault and disorderly conduct. What made it even more disturbing was that someone had recorded the stabbing and posted the video on Snapchat. I didn't watch the video myself, but my mom told me about it. She said in the video, the person recording was running, so the phone was pointed at the ground, but you could clearly hear the screams of kids as the stabbing happened. My mom thinks the whole thing might have been gang-related, and after I heard that, I was scared. Scared that someone might come back to retaliate.
This nigga said he
Another
was scared.
attack, more violence.
You better stay your
Hard to
ass out the
believe that
way.
someone actually died. I didn't even know the kid, but I've been...
Nah, getting killed on a school campus is crazy though, bro. Like, damn. It's like damn. Is that like not fucked up, bro? Or am I tripping? Like, is that like not fucked up? Alright, so well, we headed back to Elden Ring now. We headed back to Elden Ring, nigga.
Got too high, fuck it, I'ma do that shit again. Brand new fit, nigga, this shit cost the rent. Lil' Brady can't even